We've already had occasion before to move into the second position and up to the fifth position and even do some note reading there. But right now in Leonard Book 2, page 12, we're moving on to the second position in their instructions. What they're doing here is looking at the key of C that we've learned, where we know E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all in the key of C in the natural or open position. And they're looking at moving it all 2 frets higher. Since D is 2 frets higher than C, a pattern that gives you the key of C moved up 2 frets would give you the key of D. So where we play E, F, G, open 1, 3, to play in D, you could take all of that and move it up to the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th frets. That's F sharp, G, and A. Where the key of C had A, B, C, we'd move that up 2 frets to B, C sharp, and D. Notice we've found F sharps and C sharps by doing this. So by moving the scale up 2 frets, we've run into 2 sharps, F sharps and C sharps, putting us in the key of D. So E and F are a fret apart, then there's 2 frets from F to G. If I move all of that up 2 frets, I start on the F sharp. It's a fret away from G, just as E and F were a fret apart. And G is 2 frets away from A, just as F was 2 frets away from G. So everything's been transferred up 2 frets. Where you would have on the 2nd string a C and a D and maybe an open E on the next string, we would now have D, E at the 5th fret, and F sharp on the next string. Those of you who have done modes with me would recognize that this is the Phrygian shape. In the key of D, F sharp is the 3rd note. So the mode that goes with the F sharp in the key of D is F sharp Phrygian. So it'd be a minor mode to go with the minor chord F sharp. An F sharp Phrygian sound having a bit of a Spanish sound. I'm going to use that shape though and give it the name Phrygian. Although I'm not playing in F sharp Phrygian, I'm still playing in D Ionian. I'm playing in D major, but I'm using the F sharp Phrygian note selections because they're easy to memorize. If you've learned F sharp Phrygian, there's a pattern there. The physical geometry of it is now my F sharp Phrygian, which is D Ionian. So again, I'm giving it that dual purpose. I could use these notes and say I'm in F sharp Phrygian with the Phrygian minor sound, or I can use these notes in the location of F sharp, where F sharp is the bass note of the scale, but I'm putting it in D major. Notice another thing we see here, a C chord, 3, 2, open, and 1 for instance, moved up 2 frets, 3 becomes 5, 2 becomes 4, open becomes 2, is a D chord. We haven't learned this D yet. It's got a 2, a 3, and a 2. Well, I already knew that. That's a D chord here. Yes, but that 2, 3, 2, 4, 5 takes this part of a D, which looks nothing like a C chord, marries it to this part, and now it does look like a C chord moved up 2 frets to become a D. Little did you know, when you were doing a C chord, and it was 3, 2, 0, 1, 0, when you were doing 0, 1, 0, that's a little triangle in C, just like the D triangle, 2, 3, 2. They're exactly the same inversion. So this D is the same inversion as this C. That's all to say that when you move the key of C up 2 frets, you get the key of D. You can also see why that gives us 2 sharps in the key of D. If this is the key of C, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, and we move everything up 2 frets into the key of D, we've moved our scale steps. The whole from here, whole step between C and D, whole step between D and E, half step between E and F, is transferred. The whole step is from D to E. The next whole step is from E to F sharp. So those 2 half steps with natural notes, when we insert a whole step there, we put those 2 sharps. So E to F was a half step. Now in the key of D, it's E to F sharp, because the whole step has been moved. Same thing at the end. B to C is a half step. Because we're in the key of D, that half step has been moved to a whole step. C is now sharp. This is interesting if you go up alphabetically from one key to the other. We've always done it in fifths, but if you go alphabetically, you add 2 sharps each time. The key of C has no sharps. When I move everything up 2 frets and I push them across those half steps, then the key of D has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. If I go up again to the key of E and we move those again, that half step is going to shove the G to G sharp and the D to D sharp. So the key of E would have 4 sharps. If I go to the next one, F sharp, it'll have 6 sharps. So you're going up by 2s in sharps if you go up 2 frets at a time, 1 scale step at a time. One thing Hal Leonard is doing on that page is showing you all these notes. They didn't include the F sharp, G, and A in their picture. There's no reason to leave them out. Let's go ahead and put them in. If you look at Hal Leonard page 12, they're also allowing you the open strings. If we're going to go ahead and learn second position, for now let's eliminate the open strings. So don't read the margin notes. Take all the opens out and just play in second position. That means that a few notes that we know as open notes, we're going to play at 5th or 4th fret. And it might be a little more awkward that way, but let's use it to get good at this position. So practice your scale, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A. Practice it from D to D so you can hear the Ionian. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Include the high notes because we'll need them in our song. D, E, F sharp, G, A. And let's go ahead and have a look at Wabash Cannonball. We've got A, D, and E. So you could play that normally, A, D, E. We're going to, at some point, right after this F sharp, which you might play with your second finger, have to leap out to get A at the 5th fret with your pinky. In order to facilitate that, we can actually just play everything within reach of that. So instead of playing A with my middle finger, I'll play it with the pointer at the 2nd fret. A, D, 3rd fret, but now it's a 2nd finger. E, I want to play 5th fret, so I've numbered it 5 here. That would be a hard habit to break at first. Probably a lot of you learned the E as this open string. You didn't learn its name. You just saw this note and played open first string. I ask you over and over again, say its name, make sure you know its name. Some of you complain, oh, that slows me down. Is it better if I don't do that? It's tough if I say the name like, yes it is, but you need to know it. Because that E is an E all over the guitar. And you want to know what note you're reading so you can place it anywhere on the guitar. So we'll have to break the habit of the open E for this song and play it at the 5th fret of the 2nd string. You could go all over your song and put 5s in. As always, you should practice one phrase and one lick at a time to get good at them, but we'll just go through and talk about it as we make our way through the song. So we have A's, E is going to be pinky, 5th fret, 2nd string, F sharp lands right under your pointer, and the A is your pinky up here, 5th fret. So we boxed in 2nds and 5s. Now you're on that A, back to F sharp, pinky on E again. G is the one that's a little weird. It'd be so natural to hit the open 3rd string. But to make sure we're learning the position, let's put it on the 4th string, 5th fret. So that lick again, A, D, E, F sharp, A, F sharp, D, E, G. This is probably the least convenient way to play with your pinky out here at the 5th fret, but let's learn it anyway. It's good practice on the pinky, good practice on the scale. A again is your pointer. C sharp, E, F sharp, E, C sharp, pointer, 2nd fret. B wants to be open, but we're going to put it at the 4th fret of the 3rd string. Keep this map handy when you're playing these songs. So you're naming them and locating them on that if you haven't memorized them well yet. So that goes E, C sharp, ring finger B, pointer A. There's extra rhythmic values added here, but the notes are the same. A's, D, E, F sharp A, F sharp, E, 5th fret, D, and then that weird G again. A with your pointer again. C sharp, 2nd fret. And last lick, E to D, C sharp, A, B on the 3rd string, C sharp, D. So you get a scale there. A, B, C sharp, D. Which you've learned and you've been practicing already. As always, you can practice your chords. We'll leave them for now in open position, just your normal campfire chords. D's, D7. D7 has a C natural in it. The key of D has C sharp, so that's a flat 7 in the chord, making this a secondary dominant, leading you to this G you can barely see. A7 is the dominant chord, which leads you back to D's. Next phrase starts with D again. D7, the dominant of G, so a secondary dominant preceding the G chord. A7, the 5 of D. The chords then, 1, 2, 3, 4, D. D7 to G. A7, 3 bars of that, leading us to D. 3 bars of D, one of them at D7 though, to G. A7. Let's see if I can put the melody in this one. Have fun with that one, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.